Mr. Jackie Mason is with us, ladies and gentlemen. That was the Cramps. He's coming already. He's been talking about my suit in a slightly, in a comically disparaging way. I'll be honest with you.
It's not disparaging. It's unusual to me. It's very bright colours. It's some kind of a connection with purple and green. This looks like a guy couldn't make up his mind which colour he wanted to do.
That kind of sums up my dress sense, Jackie. It has to be said. Well, welcome back to the UK.
Why not? Why not? What have you got to lose? You're not paying for the trip.
He's here because Jackie's in the country because he's performing a series of live shows called A Night at the Opera at 3 impressive venues, 3 opera houses. He's at the Manchester Opera House tonight, that's Saturday evening. He's at the Grand Theatre and Opera House in Leeds tomorrow night on the 13th, and then he'll be back down in London for the Royal Opera House in Covent Garden on Tuesday the 15th. Opera House in particular, are you doing opera-based material this time, Jackie?
No, it's just because of the fact that they were looking for an opera singer, they couldn't find one, so they figured Jewish comedian will be good enough.
It's close enough.
Either that or they got the wrong number. They don't even know I'm coming. Maybe they think I work under the name of Pavarotti. I don't know.
But you must be able to sing.
I don't know what's the connection between me and an opera house, but all I know is that as far as I'm concerned, it's the same thing. It's a building with chairs, and people are paying admission. So I don't really care if the day before it was an opera or a mob of murderers looking for Jewish people. What do I care what was there before? It doesn't affect my acts. If they start singing an opera while I'm talking, I might get a little disturbed. But as long as nobody shows up with an opera, to me, it's the same story.
But can you sing? Do you ever sing yourself?
I'm one of the great singers of all time. I'm keeping it quiet. I don't think it's anybody's business, and I don't see any reason why I should tell it to everybody.
But
because there's a limit to how much of the I'm going to give people for these prices. They're paying for jokes, so I don't feel I owe them any songs. They want to hear a voice. Give me an extra few dollars, I'll start singing. But for this price, that's all I do.
I'm never sure what to leap in with, Jackie. And he's off and going because you were a rabbi, weren't you?
Yes, I was a rabbi. Well, you thought I was a priest?
Well, no, I didn't think you were a priest, but rabbis do sing, don't they? I mean, normally.
No, that's a cantor. A cantor does the singing.
You were a cantor, though, as well, weren't you?
I was a cantor, too, but a rabbi doesn't sing. A rabbi is the preacher, the religious leader of the congregation. He's like the minister, the preacher, the teacher. He's the one who admonishes you to live a clean life, which means that people can't wait for the cantor to show up so they could hear a couple of songs.
But you could sing, then. You could sing a nice Jewish song.
Yes, I studied music all my life, and I am a cantor, and I have been a cantor. But I'm not going to give it away unless, as I told you before.
Okay, well, what if we paid for the extra?
Well, let's see if you could come up with something.
Well,
so far, all I hear is conversation. I don't see it at all. I never saw a guy with a radio show offering to pay anybody for anything. I'm willing to bet you even got the suit for that.
I've got cash, How much are you asking for stuff?
I find people usually in the radio people, publicity people, press people, they feel like they are one-man walking version of the United Jewish Appeal. They almost always expect to get everything for nothing. Every time a guy comes into a restaurant and I see him eating for nothing, what do? I work for this paper, that paper, and they're always making deals. I get them into the paper, I eat a free steak. I eat another guy in the paper, I'm eating a pastrami sandwich. They look like they would starve to death if they couldn't eat for nothing.
But you're telling me you don't like a free meal, Jackie?
Positively not, because I'm offered free meals wherever I go.
I bet you have a free meal occasionally.
And let me let you in on a secret. I am offered free meals because they feel maybe they'll get publicity out of it that I was there, or maybe I'll mention them someplace. And very often they do offer me free meals, but I would never take it. Not because I'm such a fantastically wonderful person. It's just because I don't want to be indebted to somebody, because as soon as he offers me a free meal, if God forbid I finish the sandwich, he already wants 3 free tickets to my show.
That's fair enough.
If I got another sandwich, I get 11 tickets. Yeah. If God forbid I have it with mustard, another ticket. Every time I take a bite, in his mind he's collecting tickets.
And you're losing money.
Right.
It's probably costing you more in the long run. You do a lot of material, I know, based on the differences between Jewish people, I guess we're talking about American Jewish people, essentially, and Gentiles. Now, is there a difference between the Jewish folk in America and Jewish folk you meet here in the UK?
No, I find them almost generally exactly the same. They have the same aspirations, the same status symbols, the same search for jewelry, the same plastic surgery. They just gotten their nose maybe a little smaller here and there, but they're always chopping something off, and they're the same search for mink coats, but now that you can't walk around with a mink coat, they're hiding the coat, they're burying the coat, they're showing you the coat. They just prove to you they have the coat and get out of the house. At least you saw the coat. It's a whole contest with rooms, with toilets. I had 4 toilets, you got 7 toilets. I always say if you need that many toilets, you don't need a house, you need a urologist.
What is it with Jewish people and swimming pools as well? I've noticed that...
Every Jew has to have a swimming pool. They don't go into the pool. This is for Gentiles. Gentiles are swimming and Jews keep buying pools. You Jews use a pool as another place to eat around. They eat around the pool, they eat around around the house, around the building. There's every place, someplace, another place to eat around. They only go to a show so that you could go something to eat after the show, before the show, and between the show. Everything is an excuse for a place to eat. They go on a cruise supposedly to see another island. They never see the island because there's a piece of cake coming up. The Gentiles are looking for all these kind of tchotchkes that you see in these islands, huts, and people with schmatters and rags, whatever they're walking around with, and they want to study the culture. The Jews are saying, we're not going to miss the Viennese table. That's the main thing.
But that is so true, though, because whenever, I mean, my wife's Jewish, and we have quite a lot of Jewish friends on, and when the Jewish friends turn up if there's a celebration, they want to know where the food is. And when the non-Jews turn up, they want to know where the booze is.
Right. Now, people say I generalize too much, but you're walking proof that I'm not generalizing. Because you're experiencing it in your life.
Yeah.
The simple fact is that Gentiles are always looking for a drink, just as much as Jews are something to eat. When you meet a Jew, he says, let's go for coffee. He doesn't really mean the coffee, he means the cake that comes with the coffee.
I love a bit of cake, though. I'm like an honorary Jew, I think.
But when you meet a Gentile, where can we go for a drink? That's all they know. Everything is an excuse for a drink. And it doesn't have to be a reason. It's just because you exist. As soon as you exist, it's time for a drink. He just could have had a drink. It's always time for another drink. If he met 7 people, they'll have 32 drinks. A Gentile is only sober if he never met anybody.
Do you still do a lot of topical material, I know, when you're performing? You used to do, when you were here in London before, I think you were on Shaftesbury Avenue, and the sign said, if it's in the news, it's in the show. That was the kind of premise.
That's right. Topical material all the time, because I feel just because you're an old Jew doesn't mean you have to tell old jokes. The jokes don't have to reflect your age. They should reflect what's in the paper. And I could buy a new paper just like somebody who's 12 years old. They still buy the same paper. And if we're talking about what just happened in the paper, it doesn't make any difference how old I am.
And are you doing new material in the Opera House?
I'm doing new material all the time, every day. Yeah. I'm not like you who never heard of what's going on. I read every day, and every day I keep arranging new stuff. My act keeps evolving, changing, developing, thinking, because I'm always studying and learning about whatever is happening that's going on. And I want to make sure that I'm as relevant as today's paper. But most of my act doesn't consist directly of news. I might do political issues for 15 minutes, and I might be doing jokes about what's trendy, what's hot, what's happening, whatever people are talking about. I always think, what would they be talking about tonight at the dinner table? There's always some hot subject in the news that people are discussing. Like right now, they might be discussing this weapons of mass destruction business. This is good. This is like the hottest topic. Was there really weapons of mass destruction, or did Blair just imagine that he saw it? Did he see it and think that he really saw it, or did they tell him he saw it and he just heard about it? And did he start a war because Bush started a war and he had nothing else to do that day, or was there a reason for the war? And he says there is a reason. What's the reason? He can't quite remember the reason, but he knows the reason, and we're gonna find it. What? I don't know, but I know it's there. What's there? Whatever they had. What did they have? This we don't know, but if they had it, we're gonna find it, except we don't know what it is, and we're still looking for it.
So this is the kind of stuff that's going to be in the show. Let's play another track. We'll talk to Jackie Mason off this one. Now, Jackie, let me guess your music taste, I imagine. Sinatra, Tony Bennett?
These are the greats of all time.
Yeah. A bit of Barbra Streisand occasionally?
Great.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who thinks that Frank Sinatra couldn't sing. You could mention a comedian and immediately you'll start a fight between 7 people, because there's never 2 people or more than 3 people who agree that they like any one comedian. Yeah. Because it's a very personal kind of approach to entertainment. It's very personal. Yeah. And if you don't like the person or the way he talks or his attitude or style...
Or his suit.
But a song is not personal. You're just interpreting a song.
Yeah, and Sinatra, one of the best.
And if you know how to sing a song, nobody could say you can't sing the song, because you could see is it musically correct or not.
He's off again. Well, we're going to play you the Inspiral Carpets now. Yeah. This is their new single. That's good stuff. That's a new single from the Inspiral Carpets, and I think they're going to come on and play live.
Is that on Monday?
We have with us Mr. Jackie Mason, one of the most successful and, I think, talented comedians working in the business today.
What do you mean you think? You're not sure?
Well, I'm guessing. How long have you been doing it for now, Jackie?
Close to 6 months.
Well, you're doing well.
I would say like 34 years.
Wow, that's quite something.
Yeah, yeah.
And what keeps you going? What keeps you fresh? What keeps you
What
interested?
keeps me interested is people like you. People like you. I know sooner or later I'm going to meet a guy who's going to keep making a fool out of himself, and it makes me feel like a hit.
Well, I'm here for you. Whenever you need me, I'm here.
It serves a great purpose.
Have audiences changed much over the years? I mean, what's
They
the
have to change because if the same person's sitting there for 30 years,
well,
I'd be shocked.
I knew that. But I mean,
it
is it
definitely changes, but I don't see in what way. People ask me constantly if humor changed. I don't know in what way humor changes. You have to make fun of whatever is current, of whatever is happening. And humor can't stay the same because situations and news and events and styles and attitudes, and there's a constant evolving world. And nothing is the same any place else, so how could humor be the same? You have to comment about what's happening in today's world, and it's never the same as it once was. Yeah, I'm doing comedy about Iraq and war. There was no war in Iraq. There was a war in every other country in the world. Somehow they left out Iraq. Now I got a whole new subject.
What do you do?
There was never a Starbucks coffee before. Nobody had the knife to charge $4 for a cup of coffee before. So now I have a whole new subject with Starbucks. Says, has comedy changed? It hasn't changed, but the price of coffee changed, so I have to tell a whole new joke.
No, so what do you do, Jackie? Do you take like jokes you made about other wars and then just put the word Iraq in there?
No, we're not talking about your mentality. We're talking about mine. I don't have to steal my own material to be a hit.
All fresh material.
And I don't have to come up with something I did 30 years ago. Your mind might have stopped working 30 years ago. Don't blame me. I'm still thinking.
Well, now, what have I done to upset Jackie this morning?
What right
I've
you
been
have
nothing
to tell
but
me?
nice to him.
What right do you have to tell me? You take old jokes and just transport them to
Well, I
another
just
war.
was asking, that's all.
You just asked, but
Well, no need to
all I
get
did was
cranky
answer.
about it.
I don't remember being
I
cranky.
think you had too much coffee this morning.
I remember asking a stupid question, but I don't remember being
No,
cranky.
what's going-
I'm
no.
just answering the truth.
No,
The
Andy,
truth is that
well, no,
the truth is
no,
that I don't have.
no.
Hello.
And well, I think someone got out the wrong side.
You don't
of
think
the
it's an insulting question? That you still do the same jokes from 30 years ago? You just changed the war.
Jackie, these days recycling is all the way.
Recycling for people. This is we're talking. You're talking about mentally retarded people. We're back to you.
Well, no,
we're
you
talking
said we
about
can't
me
say
now.
that. You shouldn't say that. You don't come in and call me mentally retarded. Just
Why
got a
did you
purple
ask me-
suit on.
Why did you ask me? Are you still living with all the news that happened 300 years ago and you just turn the page and do the same thing again? Everything is new with me. You got that? Write that down.
See, I better make a note of this.
Yeah, everything
because
is new with Jackie Mason.
I think if I don't write this down,
Yeah.
See,
he
you know what
might
never
strike
changed?
me.
You know what never changed? See your suit you're wearing? This never changed. This was a hit 30 years.
Jackie, we've run out of time. It has been a
You run out
pleasure
of
meeting
time.
you.
You're running out of town, you mean?
What happened
Yeah,
this morning?
I
See,
know.
you came in.
You
I
happened to you.
thought we
You
were
happened.
friends. I thought we'd bonded. And
The
now,
Starbucks thing.
As a matter of
The
fact,
coffee.
I'm crazy about you. That's why I'm insulting you. If I didn't like you, I would insult somebody else.
well, I'm pleased to hear that. Jackie Mason is performing this evening at the Opera House Manchester. He's tomorrow night at the Grand Theatre and Opera House in Leeds, and Tuesday of this week he's at the Royal Opera House in Covent Garden. Do yourself a favour, get a ticket, go along and see him. Jackie, thank you so much for coming in.
Well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. You see, that's new too.
88 and 91 FM, this is Radio 2 from the BBC.